We're working to connect a region of over 600 million bridges between our lands.
Hello and welcome to ASEAN in Focus. I'm Maricar Velasco delivering to you the latest news in and around the ASEAN region. On today's headlines, President Rodrigo Duterte on Monday reminded new government appointees that they have his full support as long as they resist the temptation to engage in corrupt practices. Tougher sanctions are needed against Myanmar's wealthy and powerful military as its web of economic interest has generated a fortune that helps fund atrocities, UN investigators said Monday. And the awarding ceremony of the 5th ASEAN Youth Video Contest was held yesterday in Vientiane, Lao PDR, at the gala dinner of the 11th ASEAN Ministerial Meeting on Youth. President Rodrigo Duterte on Monday reminded new government appointees that they have his full support as long as they resist the temptation to engage in corrupt practices. During the oath-taking ceremony of newly appointed officials, Duterte mentioned how Filipinos have long suffered from both corruption and red tape in the bureaucracy and that it was their job to regain the people's trust.
Our people have long suffered from the scourge of corruption and red tape in the bureaucracy. As you assume respective offices, I expect you to help me in the task of regaining our people's trust in government by pursuing necessary bureaucratic reforms that will enable us to address the needs to those we serve. Know that you'll always have my complete support as long as you resist any temptation that will taint your character and reputation as public servants.
Duterte urged the new appointees to cooperate to help institute the necessary reforms so that the government may effectively stamp out criminality, illegal drugs, terrorism, and the country's other ills. He challenged them to help him steer the course towards lasting peace and greater development.
Let us carry out our shared duty of building a stronger and more progressive Philippines that we can all leave behind to future generation of Filipinos.
Duterte reminded them of their responsibilities to uphold integrity, accountability, and transparency in the institutions they serve. In closing, he also warned them that they will be dealt with severely if they are involved in any form of corruption. Duterte officiated the oath of about 100 newly appointed officials, including judges, directors, administrators, assistant secretaries, and undersecretaries. President Rodrigo Duterte on Monday admitted that he continues to pray to spare the Philippines from possible attacks by the Islamic State of Iraq and Syria or ISIS.
Meron po akong ISIS. And ito yung nagbibigay sa akin ng kaba talaga. I am not a person easily swayed by itong mga dito, but yung potok, you are not, you are a spectators of the international scene.
Duterte said what he feared the most is seeing scores of innocent people killed just like in Iraq and Syria.
Ang tinatakutan ko yung just like Iraq, Syria, na maraming inosenteng taong nadadali. Talagang ako'y nagdarasal. I'm praying. I really pray. Talagang lumuluhod ako sa Diyos na to spare us the kind of brutality and cruelty in our country, because it will really be bloody. Bloody as it can ever be.
Meanwhile, Duterte mentioned of sparks that would derail the transition period to the establishment of the Bangsamoro parliamentary government in 2022.
As it is yung Bangsamoro law, there are already sort of just sparks there that would tend to maybe derail the smooth transition for the Bangsamoro people. That is territorial. Yung kay Murad, MILF. Meron tayong MNLF.
Duterte was referring to Bangsamoro Transition Authority or BTA Interim Chief Minister and Moro Islamic Liberation Front or MILF Al-Haj Murad Ibrahim. He also expressed hope that Moro National Liberation Front or MNLF founding chairman Nur Misuari would accept the same arrangement he gave the MILF, which led to the creation of the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao.
Meron tayong MNLF, that is the Sulu up to Tawi-Tawi area, Basilan. I am praying to God that Nur Miswari will be enlightened and he'll be able to accept maybe the same terms that we have extended to Murad. That is the only way really, without a breakage in our society.
Last June, Duterte barred that he was trying to set up another meeting with Misuari. President Rodrigo Duterte may visit the victims of the Iloilo-Guimaras Strait mishap, where 3 motor bangkas capsized due to bad weather, drowning more than 20 people, Malacanang said on Monday.
Given the character and style of the president, that's a probability. Meanwhile, we condole with the families of the victims that perished in those mishaps.
Panelo, meanwhile, expressed the palace's condolences to the families of the victims who died during the mishap. Panelo said the Office of the President directed all concerned departments and agencies, including the Philippine Coast Guard, the Maritime Industry Authority, and the National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council, to provide immediate assistance to the sea mishaps victims. The concerned agencies were also tasked to refine their coordination efforts in safeguarding the security of the public, especially during this rainy season. Panelo said whoever is responsible for securing the folks during storms should exercise more prudence, caution, and should give the people more guidelines relative to facing this kind of disasters. At present, maritime agents continue conducting search and rescue operations in the naval areas affected by the bad weather. City Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Office head Donna Magno, designated spokesperson for the accident, said investigation will provide answers on why the motorboats were allowed to sail amid inclement weather. Khmer Rouge brother number 2 Nguyen Chia died Sunday, aged 93, a spokesman for the Cambodia tribunal where he was convicted of genocide and crimes against humanity told media.
Against enemies by whatever.
The cause of his death was not given. The reign of terror led by brother number 1 Pol Pot left some 2 million Cambodians dead from overwork, starvation, and mass executions from 1975 to 1979. But Nguyen Chia, considered the Khmer Rouge's chief ideologue was not arrested until 2007. He and other senior members of the ultra-Maoist group were put on trial at the extraordinary chambers in the courts of Cambodia. The UN-backed court sentenced him to life in prison last year after he was found guilty of genocide against the ethnic Vietnamese and Cham Muslim minority group. His lawyers had planned to appeal. Nuon Chia and the sole surviving defendant on trial, Kie Sam Phan, were previously handed life sentences in 2014 over the forced evacuation of the Phnom Penh in 1975 when Khmer Rouge troops drove the population of the capital into the countryside.
Is our most important asset. Sabino Padilla Street, Binondo, Manila.
Hi, I am Teacher Sally and this is Kid Kwento, one of Net25 Kids' online shows. Kid Kwento is now on TV. You can watch us every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 4 to 4:30 p.m. Also watch Anong Sa Inyo with Ate DJ every Tuesdays and Thursdays at 4 to 4:30 p.m. Sa Kid Kwento, ang aming motto ay, let's all read to succeed! Hooray! Kita-kita tayo ha! Bye-bye!
Landmarks, Linggo, alas 6 hanggang alas 7 ng gabi.
Welcome back. Tougher sanctions are needed against Myanmar's wealthy and powerful military as its web of economic interest has generated a fortune that helps fund atrocities, UN investigators said Monday. They urged the international community to severe links with the armed forces' dizzying economic holdings that they said dwarf those of any other civilian company in Myanmar. Marzuki Darusman, chair of the fact-finding mission ahead of the launch of the report in Jakarta, said cutting ties will impair the army's ability to carry out military operations without oversight and thus reduce violations of human rights. The team last year called for Myanmar's senior generals to be prosecuted for genocide after a 2017 crackdown for some 740,000 Rohingya Muslims into Bangladesh. In addition to extensive local partnerships, at least 15 foreign firms have joint ventures with the military, according to the UN report, while 44 others have some form of commercial ties. Investigator Christopher Sidoti said these numbers really are the tip of the iceberg. Two main military-owned conglomerates, Myanmar Economic Holdings Limited and Myanmar Economic Corporation, as well as numerous subsidiaries and crony companies, have interest in everything from jade and ruby mining to real estate and tourism. The military also controls two large banks. However, the companies do not release full financial results to the public, shielding themselves from public scrutiny. The UN probe argued the Army's business empire allows it to evade accountability and oversight. Sidoti said he found it shocking that so many firms contributed. He said it's not as though businesses didn't know what was going on, and that they did. The report demanded criminal investigations into these companies and urged for a complete ban on arms sales to Myanmar.
We saw the military's dominance of economic and political life in Myanmar as the most significant issue in continuing 60 long years of military perpetration of serious human rights violations. So we've identified almost 150 companies that are either subsidiary companies of the military or affiliated companies representing the business interests of the military. We've also been able to identify a number of joint ventures with foreign companies and foreign companies that are associated economically one way or another with the military.
The next meeting between President Rodrigo Duterte and Chinese President Xi Jinping may be an opportunity for the two leaders to clarify the extent and duration of the verbal fishing deal they arrived at back in 2016. Presidential spokesperson Salvador Panelo barred this after confirming that Duterte may make a working visit to China again this year, the fifth time since he assumed office in 2016.
Both countries, issues of conflict, issues of cooperation. What I know is that there will be a China visit, but the dates are not yet confirmed.
Panelo said the president mentioned his plan to revisit China again in one of his many speeches, but did not elaborate whether the chief executive will be going there upon Xi's invitation.
He mentioned it, but he didn't say na siya ang may gustong pumunta o inimbitahan siya.
However, Panelo clarified that he has yet to confirm whether the fishing deal will indeed be among the topics for discussion during their meeting.
Mga mangingisda natin, hindi gagambalain. Hindi naman lahat ng executive agreement kailangan na. Ang usapan lang naman nila doon pagdating doon sa mga mangingisda natin, hindi gagambalain. Doon sa mga areas ng traditional fishing grounds, pwede lahat sila fishing. Yun lang naman ang usapan.
Sige, sir. Wala naman itong period of time. It can go on until eternity.
Could be. Could not be. Depende. Depende sa pag-uusapan nila.
So
Because
meaning,
agreements can always terminate.
so
tingnan natin, especially because they will be talking this time o mas magiging klaro ang usapan.
So pwede natin sabihin, sir, that they can fine-tune and the agreement. And then
We don't know
specify.
whether that will be tackled nga. Let's just wait.
May be recalled that the 2016 fishing verbal agreement between Duterte and Xi allowed Chinese to fish within the Philippines' 200 nautical mile EEZ if China allowed Filipinos to fish in the Banatag Scarborough Shoal. Panelo backed Senator Francis Tolentino's privileged speech, saying that the president can validly enter into legally binding international verbal agreements with other states for and on behalf of the Philippines without the approval of the Senate.
So
Because
meaning,
agreements can all, hindi naman lahat ng executive agreement kailangan nasa papel.
In Duterte's upcoming fifth working visit to China, Panelo said Duterte and Xi are expected to discuss issues of conflict, cooperation, and support, including terrorism, fighting illegal drugs, people-to-people exchanges, and financing. Asked if the West Philippine Sea would also be brought up, Panelo said that could be part of the discussion. Panalo has yet to confirm Senator Christopher Bongo's announcement that the chief executive might also watch Gilas Pilipinas game in the 2019 FIBA World Cup, slated from August 31 to September 15. Indonesia posted its slowest rate of quarterly growth in 2 years on Monday as Southeast Asia's biggest economy feels the sting of U.S.-China trade tensions. Growth weakened to 5.05% in the April to June period as exports and investment slipped. That was down from 5.27% expansion in the same period last year. Indonesia is grappling with weaker prices for key commodities like coal and palm oil as the global economy falters on the back of U.S. President Donald Trump's intensifying trade war with China. Statistics agency head Suharyanto, who goes by one name, says the challenges we're facing are not easy to overcome due to a significant slowdown in the global economy. The sagging growth serves up a fresh challenge to Indonesian President Joko Widodo, who was re-elected earlier this year largely on his infrastructure-driven bid to energize the economy. However, he failed to hit a promised 7% target during his first term and could struggle to lift the economy off its current level, according to analysts. Research house Oxford Economics said in a report monthly indicators show signs of moderating domestic demand, and against the backdrop of renewed escalation in trade tensions between the U.S. and China, the outlook for Indonesia's exports remain bleak. Last month, Indonesia cut interest rates for the first time in nearly 2 years in a bid to rev up the economy.
Well, the French embassy was...
Digital disruption, globalization. Startups, micro, small and medium enterprises, as well as large corporations, all face interesting challenges in the market today. Peek into the world of exciting opportunities and partnerships to drive growth with the latest business news and information. We are open for business. Your weekly dose of entrepreneurial inspiration to update you on the latest developments in the world of business. Get close and personal with CEOs and thought leaders to help you discover valuable insights. Sharpen your instincts for smart decision making with the latest markets and economic trends, disruptive ideas, global innovations, social entrepreneurship, and other leading edge business ideas. Join the conversations to create a more vibrant environment for entrepreneurship. Catch Open for Business every Saturday from 5 to 6 p.m. Open for Business, from vision to action. Welcome back. The awarding ceremony of the 5th ASEAN Youth Video Contest was held yesterday in Vientiane, Lao PDR at the gala dinner of the 11th ASEAN Ministerial Meeting on Youth. Elia Pramana from Indonesia, Dian C. from Singapore, and Anoluk Davong from Lao PDR were awarded as the first, second, and third winners respectively. They received the awards from the Deputy Secretary General of Lao Youth Union, Som Kiao Kingsada, also chair of Senior Officials Meeting on Youth, Deputy Secretary General of ASEAN for the ASEAN Social Cultural Community, Kung Phuoc, and Brian Ferinden of the U.S. Mission to ASEAN. The ASEAN Foundation, the United States Agency for International Development, through the ASEAN USAID Prospect Project, the ASEAN-German Energy Program, a cooperation jointly implemented by the ASEAN Center for Energy and durch Gesellschaft für internationale Zusammenarbeit and the ASEAN Secretariat launched the 5th ASEAN Youth Video Contest on January 18, 2019. Similar to the previous years, the 5th ASEAN Youth Video Contest was endorsed by the SOMI and designed to generate a better understanding of the ASEAN community, particularly among the region's younger demographic. The theme of this year's contest, Renewable Energy Powering ASEAN's Bright Future, aims to showcase the efforts of the ASEAN and its people in enhancing the use of renewable energy and to promote the value of renewable energy for the region. The contest received 122 submissions of 1-minute videos from all 10 ASEAN member states. The contest committee selected 1 finalist from each member state and invited 10 finalists to the 4-day video production training on the 20th to the 23rd of May 2019 in Hanoi, Vietnam. The finalists honed their video making skills guided by a professional video and content producer. Commenting on the video production training hosted by Vietnam Journalist Training Center, Sokuthea Lee from Cambodia said that he enjoyed this training a lot and that he has gained more knowledge about video shooting and especially how to write stories in different perspectives. Cinemalaya 2019 has begun last Friday, August 2, during the gala premiere at the Cultural Center of the Philippines. More details from EBC correspondent MJ Racadio.
Hi, I'm Jerry Ricardo here reporting from Cinemalaya here at the Cultural Center of the Philippines, celebrating Best of Indie Films. The opening film for a gala premiere of Cinemalaya 2019 was Ang Hupa, The Halt, directed by La Diaz, which was the Philippine entry during 2019 Cannes Film Festival. The Cinemalaya Foundation, in partnership with the Cultural Center of the Philippines, celebrates 15 years of introducing best independent cinematic works to the Filipino and international film communities on August 2nd to the 11th, 2019, at various venues of the CCP. The 15th edition of the country's biggest independent film festival goes nationwide as it will be simultaneously screened on August 7th to the 13th at selected Ayala cinemas and Vista malls in Manila, Pampanga, Naga, and Legazpi in Bicol, Bacolod, Iloilo, and Davao.
The CCP with Cinemalaya and FDCP came together to come up with this festival, and the idea was to give filmmakers, young filmmakers, emerging filmmakers, the chance to tell their own stories without the pressure of the commercial market. So that's the premise, that's the vision where it started from. And when we started out, we were only...
Hi.
And talk about your movie John Denver Trending.
Yes. Well, John Denver Trending is actually inspired from true events. It's a story about a boy and our frenemy, the internet. So it's our story actually. It's everyone's story nowadays on how we handle social media and cyberbullying. So it's about that.
And actually I'm here to support all the Cinemalaya full-length films, all the filmmakers plus the short filmmakers today, and it's the opening, and I'm so excited because the list is so fabulous. All the films selected for this year's competition are all outstanding.
The 10 full-length films in competitions are Ani the Harvest, Beautiful Pain, Children of the River, Edward, F-Boys, Iska, John Denver Trending, Mala Maya, The Color of Ash, Pandango sa Hukay, Tabon. Since 2005, Cinemalaya has continued to discover, encourage, and support the cinematic works of upcoming and veteran Filipino filmmakers who boldly articulate and freely interpret the Philippine experience with fresh insight and artistic integrity. The Cinemalaya Awards night will be held on August 11, 2019 at 7 p.m. at the Tanghalang Nicanor Abelardo CCP Main Theater. Reporting from the 15th Cinemalaya Film Festival over here at Cultural Center of the Philippines. Best of the best in Philippine independent cinema. This is MJ Rocalia reporting. I am one with 25.
And that is the latest news in the Southeast Asian nations. Stay updated about the ASEAN region. I'm Maricar Velasco and I'm one with 25.